Good afternoon to one and all. In the previous classes, we are discussing about the business environment and also types of business environment and economic environment, and also liberalization and globalization. And next thing we should know about this, that is industrial policy. Yesterday I was started some inputs I was given related to the industrial revolution. Industrial Policy Act of 1956. Industrial Policies is an Act of 1948 and also the 1956 and 1991. Yesterday too, we were discussed the related to industrial policy resolution in the year of 1948. The government of India announced its first industrial policy in the year of 1948 in the month of April 6th. That is having its own objectives. We were discussed yesterday. That is designed to achieve the following objectives: the establishment of a social order wherein justice and equality of opportunity shall be secured to all the people, and the promotion of a standard of living of the people, exploiting the resources to increasing the production in both agriculture and as well as the industry, the offering of opportunity to the all the employment, the need for the careful planning and integration of efforts, the determination of a state responsibility and enterprises in industrialization. I mean, it means growing of industries, the regulation of a private enterprises. It means related to private organizations. They were preparing a separate rules and regulations under the Act of 1948. Then come to the point of 1956. Here, the industrial policies 1956. In the policies of 1948, the overall economic and policy development occurred, which made necessary to formulate a fresh industrial policies. As we know about this, each and every movement is being required as changes from one time to another. In that circumstances, we need to separate what amendments. For that, the amendments, the industrial policies is taken a place in the Policy Resolution Act of 1956 in the replacement of 1948. The three major developments are notable. That is adoption of the consultation of India, that should be required in the year, and in India, and resolution of a Lok Sabha to have a socialistic pattern of this society. This is also one of the objective. The launching of the second 5-year plans, which may mainly an industrial plan related to establishment of industries or liberalizing the policies. These are all taken place. In this background, the central government formulated the second industrial policy adopted in the year of 1956. That is IPR Act of 1948. The objectives of the IPR of the 1956 is a reduction of reducing of disparities of income and wealth. That is, till today we can't what adjusted the balancing of both, whatever the disparities come from related to income and as well as the wealth, and prevention of monopolies and concentration of economic power. In the olden days, monopolies is taken a place. Now it is reduced. Then concentration of economic power. It means related to the finance. They have need a power. It means strengthening and building up of a large and growing public sector. Wherever the requirement, the big and also the growing of a public sector, that should be established. This is also one of the objectives of the industrial policy regulation act of 1956, and developing heavy machine making industries. That is also most important thing. When their more production is taken a place in the industries. In that circumstances, the heavy machines should be required. That is also one of the objective to accelerate the rate of industrialization and economic growth. Industrialization, it means improve, so many industries is taken a place, newly established, and also economic growth. When the industries industrialization taken a place in our country, the economic growth is also automatically taken a place. In these ways, the objectives of industrial policies of 1956. Then come to the point of 1991, Industrial Policy Resolution of 1991. Industrial Policy Resolution pursued till 1990 enacted India to develop a vast and diversified industrial structure. India attained the self-sufficiency in wide range of customers and goods, but the industrial growth was not rapid enough to generate a sufficient employment. Whatever the expectation done by the country, that cannot be reached to reduce the regional disparities and alleviate the poverty. These are all the major reasons to industrialization. It was felt that the government controls and regulates had put a shackles on the growth of different segments of the Indian industry. Lack of adequate competition. Without a competition, they can't producing of a quality of the goods and the services. That is also one of the thing. And when the quality of products is uh, given by the industries, the standard of living is also taken a place, increasing of a standard of living for the employees. This is the Industrial Policies Act of 1991 renewed the commitment to basic objectives are to bring the overall changes in the economic structure. It means whatever the earlier in the year of 1948 and as well as 56, the totally structured should be changed from the country and build a sound and a diversified wherever there. It means it should be required a sound economy and a structured economy that should be taken a place to encourage for the internal and external competitors to one who is manufacturing of the same product within the country, that should be encouraged, and also the for the promotion activities, exporting activities should be taken a place to increase the productivity and encourage the profitable employment. When the productivity is more, when the companies become a big and the size of the companies become a big, the profit is also more. The encouraging to the employment, it means providing an opportunity for the employees to encourage for private entrepreneurship and invest the individual activities under the Industrial Policies Act of 1991 to encourage to the private peoples for investing the money related to industrial activities, to encourage a sound capital to mobilize the capital for the business, to encourage a sound capital for encouraging the capital for the business. That is also one of the objectives of industry. And another thing is to encourage a private entrepreneurship and invest in industrial activity, to encouraging a sound capital market to mobilize capital for the business. This is also another objectives of the industrial policies of 1991 to follow liberalized outlook, to simplify the various statutory controls, prohibition and formalities towards the industries. In earlier days, whatever the restrictions are to be framed by the government within the framing of starting of the rules, industries, that should be liberalized. When they liberalize and simplify the rules and regulations, and the prohibitions should be controlled. In that circumstances, industries were taken a place to remove the weakness and distortion spread the industrial economy. Mm, it means whatever the weaknesses come from the industries, and also the distortion spreading the industrial economy, that can be controlled to encourage the adoption of a foreign investment, foreign direct investment technology and industries, to achieve a technological dynamism in industry. These are all the main objectives of Industries Policies Act of 1991. NMCC, it means National Manufacturing Competitive Council. It's one of the National Manufacturing Policy Competitive Council has been set up by the government with a view to provide inputs for policy making and as well as a suggest to action plan to enhance the competitiveness of Indian industry, competitiveness in the Indian industry. The main features of NMCC includes National Manufacturing Competitive Councils includes identify the industries which carry the potential to compete globally. It means first identifying of industries, those who are given a competition in the global level, that should be identified. Identify constraints faced by the sector stated above. What are the constraints faced by the sectors? And suggest sectors or specific strategies that would help gain competitive advantage wherever the specific strategies should be required for the competitive advantage that can be suggested, and carry out carry a sectoral and enterprises level initiatives and create an enabling environment for their competitiveness. These are all the what NMCC features of the country. Then NMP, National Manufacturing Policy, it is also required. During the past 2 or 3 years, the GDP growth rate fell sharply. One of the reasons fell sharply. One of the reasons for this slide in this rate, low contribution from the manufacturing sector to the GDP, and industrial sector contribution to the GDP now hover around 15 to 60% against 42% in China. Unless manufacturing sector picks up the momentum, GDP growth rate will continue to stagnate. In addition to manufacturing sector is expected to generate more opportunities, more job opportunities, and newly entering workforce in coming years. In order to boost the NMP, and the government released the National Manufacturing Policy. And NMP seeks to achieve the following objectives. The objectives are like the increase the share of manufacturing in the GDP from 16 as of now has to be 25% by 2022. Create 100 minimum additional jobs in the manufacturing sector by 2022, create opportunity appropriate skills among the rural migrant and urban poor for their acceptability in industries, increasing domestic value addition and technological depth in the manufacturing, enhance global competitiveness of Indian industries. These are all the achieve of the objectives of the NMPs. To realize the above objectives, NMP proposes several interventions. Envisages the abolition of a procedure bottlenecks, greater emphasis of a MSME sector. Then MSME. What's the full abbreviation of MSME? Micro, small, and medium enterprises. Micro, small, and medium enterprises. They have a high potential, among others, for generating employment. Which one? Micro, small, and medium enterprises, and dispersal of a semi-urban and rural areas, promoting entrepreneurship and earning foreign exchange. Aware of this, the MSME have been according this strategic position in the successive 5 year plans. What's the meaning of MSME? We should know about this. The term small scale units have always been based on investment limits. based on very investment limits, which varied from time to time. It means, as we know about this, whatever the investment capacity done by the people, based on that, the investment is to be declared time to time. As of now, the Medium and Small and Enterprises Act is 2006 is accepted as a source of definitional purpose of small units. The Act classifies these units into two broad categories: manufacturing and services sector, within which each of the two or three and three groups of small units and micro and small medium. However, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitaram announced revised MSME definitions on 30th May 2020. Earlier, the MSMEs was defined basis of investments. Now, the revised definitions will take a place on the basis of the turnover of the company. The finance minister also declared that there will be no more distinction between manufacturing and service sector in MSMEs. The existing of a revised MSMEs classifications as per the notification dated 1st July 2020 is given in the table. You should see that, and you should know about this in general also. Um, whether you are becoming an entrepreneur, whether you are becoming an industrialist, in that circumstance, you should know about this. Existing MSME classification criteria: investment in a plant and machinery or equipment. The classification is like this: manufacturing and as well as the service sectors. Uh, in the micro level, manufacturing sector, investment is less than 25 lakhs. Investment in the small sector, that is investment for less than 2 5 crores. Medium investment in less than 10 crores. Uh, and services enterprises, that is in the micro, uh, that is investment less than 10 lakh, investment less than in the small 2 crores, investment less than 5 crores in a medium. And now it is revised for the MSME classification: investment and annual turnover. Based on this, manufacturing and service sector, here in the manufacturing sector, the micro investment a lot less than 1 crore, small is 10 crore, and medium is 500 crores, like the 50 crores, so not a 500 crore, 50 crores. See, comparing to this, in the earlier, the investment pattern is 25 lakhs in the micro, but now it's a investment pattern is 1 crore, less than a 10 crore. Small is less than 5 crores, but now in the 10 crores, the what limits is to be increased, and medium is investment less than 10 crores, now it's 50 crores. And come to the point of a service sector, investment it was less than 10 lakh, but it's taken a place of 5 crores. Just imagine how it is taken entirely different in the view of the economy. And investment, it was in the small 2 crores, now it is the 50 crores. Just imagine. And the investment, it was in the 5 crores less than, related to medium, now it is a 250 crores. It means the interest is to be created to for the employers, for the establishment of industries. But but the turnover capacity is increased. So many people are becoming employers, are investing the money, and it is generated employment opportunities in the place. Like these are all the what turnover capacity is taken a place, and it's having a growth. MSME, how it is taken a growth, each unit have to then come to the point of significance for micro, small and medium enterprises. Growth of a micro MSME, you should read yourself through the material. And significance of a micro and small medium enterprises. From the discussion of this point of view, in the last what we had a discussion related to this, we may expect the questions. Write a note on MNCC, write a note on NMP, And related to policies, you may expect the questions for 10 marks. It may be give an account of industrial regulation policy in the revised policy in the year of 1991, 56, or it may be. Then come to the point of significance of micro, small, and medium enterprises. And define MSME. With the turnover of the MSME classification, we may expect the questions and give an account of growth of MSME or define MSME, explain the significance of MSME. Like this, you may expect the questions. Here, as the small scale sector, high potential for providing an opportunity. Yes, of course. You're already known about this. When the small industries, they're providing a more employment opportunities, and dispersal of industries, promoting entrepreneurship and earning foreign exchange to the country. Here, the importance of the small scale industries are like this. Small is beautiful. We know that in any circumstances, in any field, whether to take an example for the house itself, if you have a small house that is more suitable, it means whether the cleaning point of view or a looking point of view or any other things, small is beautiful. Here also, in the MSME point of view, small is beautiful. Said EF Stimler, he maintains man's current pursuit of a profit and progress, which promotes a joint organization, increases specialization, in fact, result in the gross inefficiency, environmental pollution, and inhuman working conditions. Like this, for him, but should be on the person and should not be on the product. That is smallest, beautiful, innovative, and productive. Number two, this is also one of the significance of the MSME. It is the small units where the highly innovative. It means through they do not maintain their own research and development, means it is a disappropriation share of innovation and success in the business. It seems to come from the Skunak word. Tiny groups, it means cotton industries, tend to outperform the much larger labs that often have a cast of hundreds. We have now several score example for the effective success workers. Like this, the innovative and the productive is become the MSME. Whenever they want to conducting of a research and development, that is taken its own dimensions. There is no matter of a narrow dimensions, and it is also productive. In a Bangalore, Devesh Agarwal, CEO, Informed India, has a technology called Power of Ethernet, a system which just transmits electric power along with the data to remote devices, cable in the Ethernet network. Like this, so many innovatives are to be taken a place. Nowadays, as we know about this, wireless and mobile phones and Wi-Fi, each and everything. Individual tasks and fashions, personalized services. Small firms are quick in studying the changes in the tastes. They can easily assess the changes, whatever the tastes of fashion of the consumers, in adjusting the production process and the production accordingly. When they are having a small units, they can concentrate to the customer satisfaction, what they need a taste that can be easily changed by the small firms or a small units. It seems to have a edge in industries and the personal services. And the symbols of a national identity. Some small enterprises are almost always locally owned. This is a major advantage and controlled. They can strengthen rather than destroy the extended family. and other social systems, cultural traditions that are perceived as valuable in their own rights as well as its in symbols of national identity. Happier in work. Yes, of course. Where we are working, we need a what happy. Without a happy, we can't able to complete our tasks in the working place. People who work in the small enterprises are happier in the work than those who are working in the large ones in spite of the low wages and poor standard of safety, comfort in the welfare facilities. In the small industries, they can easily provide all the benefits, whether it's related to wages or standard of safety, comforts, or welfare facilities that can be easily provided. Then, always winners of the game, MSME, how the small companies or new entrepreneurs were at the forefront of the practically every business boom of the last decade, whether it was computers, television sets, consumer electronics, garments nowadays, yeah, as we know about this, diamond exports or advertising, any frequently proved established large industry success in the share of the quality of their performance, their ability to seize the business opportunities, and their aggressive feeding of the burgeoning of markets. Like this, the Indian Tobacco Company is the manufacturing of cigarettes and tested the waters to call quits and retained a small presence in the field. Always winners of the game, winners of the game. Then this is also one of the significance of the MSME, and many of the present big enterprises owe their own origin to small firms. Yes, definitely born with a big each and every industries, they can't become a born with a big industries. They were started small and it has become a big. Whether we take an example for the IT sector, Infosys Narayan Murthy was established a firm in the what car shed. Then afterwards, they were taken a partnership from outside and they were established in big. Now we can't predict what they are having a big industry like this here also. With the Bill Gates and Paul Allen came together to started the small unit is called Microsoft. It is also related to software. In the year of late 1970s, the David Folio, Jerry John Young turned their campus startup the email and such the small units called Yahoo in the year of 1998. In the year of 1999, Stanford students Larry Page and Sergey Brin suspended their PhD studies to create a Google universe. Apple computers were started. Steve Jobs in the garage. Majority of the micro, small, and units demonstrate the fact affluent can be generated amidst affluence around. Walking to a typical small scale unit, you need to be careful about your feet, your hands, and your clothes. Floor are streamed to with cutting oils and nails. Walls and doors handles are greasy. Smoke and dust will settle your head. It makes it unrecognizable if you come back home without a wash. Like this, MSME is become a significance. Then, what are the facilities of MSMEs? The MSMEs got a major boost when the Ministry of Small Scale Industry Enterprises and Ministry of Agro and Rural Agencies (ARIs) were merged to form the industrial of micro, small, medium, and small enterprises. And when my MSME ED Act 2006 came into force for becoming operational from the Act of October 2006. It came as a major initiative affected massive overhaul and MSME in the sector. MSME Act 2006 aims to facilitate the promotion and development and enhancing the competitiveness of the MSMEs. It has also redefined MSMEs and further broadened its scope. like these facilities of MSMEs and medium enterprises. Uh, you can go through your study material with the image that some progress and policies have been outlined here. Broadly, the facilities can be categorized into three, that is, a policy, initiative, institutional support, credit dispensation. Like this, policy initiatives, that is, marketing clusters, infrastructural facilities, economic reforms, small scale industry, and growth centers and women entrepreneurs, pollution control board, and marketing is also taken a place. Facilities for SMEs, industrial and as well as the credit dispensation. Institutional support, that is industry associations, central government network, state government network, NGOs is taken a place. And credit dispensation, that is banks, state level institutions, apex level institutions is also taken a place. Then come to the point of a small scale sector industrial policy. Small scale sector industrial policy. Here, the government announced its policy towards the small scale sector on 6th August 1991. It's having its own features. The features are like this: equity participation up to 24% by other industrial undertakings, including foreign companies, and the legislation to limit financial liability of new and non-active patterns to the capital investment. Services sector to be recognized as a tiny sector. Support from National Equity Fund for project up to 10 lakh. Single window loans cover up to projects cover up to 20 lakhs. Banks to be involved. Relaxation of a certain provisions of a labor laws. It means certain conditions that can be relaxed. So subcontracting exchanges to be set up industrial associations. It means one who main contract is given, that can be again given as one more contract, that is a subcontracting exchange should be set up. And another thing is easier access to institutional finance. There is no any ambiguity easily that can be accessed. And factoring services through SIDB to overcome the problems of delayed payments, also legislation to ensure the payments of bills. It means when the person is purchasing of a raw material from the outside country or supplying of a raw materials to the outside country, they need to what require the payments. In that circumstances, they can't take able to reach the or clearing or settling of that transactions. In that circumstances, factoring services is provided by the SIDB. And women enterprises redefined. Package of handloom and handicraft sector. This is related to this, the handloom and as well as handicraft sector. This is having its own package for the loan. Export Development Center in SIDO. Marketing of mass consumption items. Marketing of small consumption items by national small industries corporations under the common brand name. These are all the policies of small scale industrial policies. Then come to the point of recommendations of the Hubbing Usage Committee. See, related to small scale industrial policy, you may expect the questions: give an account of a small scale sector industrial policy. Give an account of small scale industrial sector policy. You may expect the questions. Next, recommendations of the Abid Hussain Committee. Here, the recommendations made by the Abid Hussain Committee, that is, the recommendations are like this: abolition of the reserved items, which are as reserve items that should be abolished. It means cancelled. Hiking the investment limit of SME units, Yes, of course. When they are hiking the limits of investment SMEs, so many people are entering into industry field for started the industries. S- Scrapping the foreign investment ceiling 24%. It is also most important that should be recommended by the Abid Hussain. New law covered to the business practices. Each and every movement, they should forming a new law, rules and regulations for the purpose of the industries, for the growth of the industries. Special incentives to the cluster of the universities. Yes, of course. Whatever the incentives, it should be. It is not enough for the each and every movement. Special incentives are to be provided. That is also a suggestion given by the Abid Hussain Committee. Inclusion of a services sector under the SME units. Inclusion of a service sector, that not only the production sector, service sector is also included. National Research Institute for SME units. National Research Institute, it means they were time and again they were conducting of a research. What are the what do's and don'ts? It means what are the advantages and as well as the disadvantages that should be studied by the National Research Institutes related to SMEs. Sanctioning of a composite loans and credit rating of SME units. Credit rating, you know, the credit worthiness of the each and every individual industries that should be taken place. Sanctioning of a composite loan, that is also most important thing. Then liberalizing the exercise benefits for manufacturing of brand name items. Liberalizing the policies related to the brand name items. In that circumstances, they can increasing of a production or getting a name and fame in the society itself. Then come to the point of Mudra Card. Here, more recommendations given by the Vidusan Committee. You can go through your syllabus. Mudra Card. So many times we heard Mudra Card, Mudra Card. What is that? We should know about this. Recently, the government of India launched a Mudra Card. It means Micro Unit Development and Refinanced Agency. Micro Development Unit, Micro Unit Development and Refinance Agency. It means it is related to the small units that should be need a development that should be provided. Refinance, once they already finance, it means given an amount for the establishment of a industry, small industries. Again, they need a extension of our industries. In that circumstances, they need a refinance. In that circumstances, they were provided under the card of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, PMMY. Like this, the Mudra card is a debit card. This facility enables the small enterprises avail financial assistance, frees them from clusters of the money lenders, such as accepting a long overdue. It is hoped that Mudra scheme will boost the prospects of MSME sector. Then we should know about the Mudra card. What is that? How it is looking like? We should know about this. Mudra card is a debit card issued against the Mudra loan account. Those who are taken a Mudra loan, Micro Unit Development and Refinance Agency Scheme Development card. That is loan account for the working the capital portion of the loan. Working capital, it means whatever the day-to-day expenditure, it means whether the purchasing of raw material, the payment of wages, or any other expenditures is occurred in a particular day. In that circumstances, they need a working capital that should be provided by the Mudra card. The borrowers can make use of Mudra card in multiple withdrawals. There is no matter of what limits of the withdrawals. There is a multiple withdrawals. How much there is a credit card facilities, credit facilities, so as to manage the working capital limit efficiently, or how much they require. how much they need, that should be provided. Capital limits, whatever they required, whether in the current year they required a 10 lakh, then next year they required another 5 lakh. In that circumstances, that should be efficiently provided. It means the interest burden minimum, whatever the charging interest in the outside financial, or those who are providing a finance, the different financial institutions, comparing to this is the reasonable interest rate, which means this is not a burden rate of interest. What are the eligibility for getting a Mudra loan? Micro, unit development and refinance agency loan. The government of India has designed Mudra loans under the PM Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana scheme to help the small business owners for what they meet their capital needs, operating cost. It means, just I told you, whatever they need a working capital, that should be provided, and also easy finance scheme, need not necessary to standing in front of the bank managers. They can easily accessible through the Mudra card. Anyone who runs a small business enterprises is eligible to apply. Those who are having a capacity to establishment of a small business, they can. The following entities are eligible to apply for the Mudra card. As we know about this, the minimum age of applicant must be 18 years. Those who are attaining the age of 18 years, they are eligible to get entitled the benefit of a Mudra card. And the maximum Mudra loan age limit is set to 65 years. 18 to 65 years. Those who have capacity or those who want to become entrepreneurs, they can. And loans can be availed by non-farm income generating business in trading, manufacturing, and services sector. Not only for the specific here, all the non-farming sectors, income generating, and also trading and manufacturing, and also services they were providing. The requirement of the credit must be 10 lakh and low. Entities must be engaged in the allied agricultural services since from the 1st April of 2016. Those who are allying, those who are doing agriculture, they were also eligible for the getting a Mudra card loan. Lending institutions that are eligible Mudra card, that is all the public sector, private sectors, and also regional rural banks are eligible to provide Mudra loans if they satisfy the following criteria. What are the criteria should be followed? That is, bank should have generation profits during the last 2 years. Those who have a profit, whether the bank is getting a loss, they can't able to providing such loans. Net performing asset should not less than should not be more than 15%, 10%, or 6% for the public, private and regional rural banks respectively, and net worth above 250 crores for the private and public sector banks. Just imagine, net worth of the company should be above 250 crores, while for the rural banks it should be above 50 crores. In the national level or any other banks, 250 crores, but the regional rural bank should be above the 50 crores transaction. They're all lending the finances to the Mudra card. Net banking bank should be generated profit during the last 2 years. That is the first condition. Second condition is non-performing should be not more than the 15% to 10% and 6% for the public, private, and regional rural banks. 15% for the public, 10% for the private, and regional rural bank is 16%. And also net worth above 250 crores in the private and public sector banks. Well, it's an regional rural banks, the 50 crores and above, that is enough. And come to the point of a Competition Act. Competition Act, again and again we were using, and again we were uh, knowing about the competition. Related to this, we need an act. Prior to the era of liberalization, this started in the year of 1991. India followed and policies comprising of laws, rules, regulations, and executive orders. MRTP Act, Monopolies Restrictive Trade Practices Act, was one of the important act to regulate the Competition Act in India. It was in the year of 1996. In the year of 1991, and widespread economic reforms were undertaken, and consequently, the march from the command and control economy to an economy based more on free market principles was undertaken. According to this, is a need for an effective competition regime. In this background, India has chosen to enact a new Competition Act law called Competition Act of 2002, in the place of MRTP Act metroposed into new law, and that is Competition Act of 2002. The new law designed to repeal the existing of a MRTP Act. Related to this, they were given us some definitions. What are the definitions of MRTP? What are the definitions of the Competition Act? We should know in the replace of the MRTP. Under this, some of the definitions are given under the Competition Act of 2002. Agreement. It includes any agreements in concert whether or not such agreement and understanding or action in writing or whether or such an arrangements, understanding or action is intended to be enforced by the legal proceedings. It means abide the rules and regulations related to agreements. That is a Competition Act. Appropriate tribunal means appellate tribunal established under the subsection 1 and section 53A. Cartel, it includes an association of procedures, sellers, distributors, traders, or service providers who, by agreement amongst themselves, limit, control, or attempts to control the production, distribution, sale of price, or trade of or provision for services. Consumer means any person who buys any goods for a consideration. Without a consideration, they can't be able to purchase. It means the benefits which has been paid or promised or partly paid or partly promised. They were treated as consumers. And goods means goods as defined in the Sale of Goods Act of 1930 and includes products manufactured, processed or mined, debentures, stocks, shares, allotment in relation to goods supplied, distributed or controlled in India, goods imported in India. These are all they treated as a goods according to Competition Act of 2002. And price in relation to the sale of any goods or to the performance of any services includes every valuable consideration which can be measurable in terms of the value, that is price, whether the direct or in the deferred includes any consideration which is effect related to sale of any goods or to the performance of any services, although stably related to the any matter or thing. See, which can be measurable in terms of the money that can be fixed of the price. Services. What's the meaning of service? Service means service of any description which is made available to the potential users and includes the provision of service in connection with the business of any industries or commercial matters such as banking, communication, or any other service sector or education itself. Trade. What's the meaning of a trade? Trade means business. Business means busiest person, industry, profession, or occupation relating to the production, supply, distribution, storage, or control of goods, and includes the provision of any services. This is treated as a trade. The Competition Act 2002 is having its own features. What are the features of a Competition Act of 2002? You may expect the questions in your examination point of view. What is Competition Act of 2002? Or define a Competition Act of 2002. Explain the salient features of the Act. The salient features of the Act is anti-agreements. Here, any individual or enterprises shall not deal in the production, supply, or distribution that may cause a negative impact regarding competition in India. Any existence of such agreements is considered illegal. That is anti-agreements. That is also one of the features of the what Competition Act. Abuse of dominant position. In the event an enterprise or an association individual it is found to indulge in practices that are unfair and discriminatory in nature, where they are discriminated shall be considered as abuse of a dominant position. If a party is found to be in abuse of its position, then they will be subjected to an investigation from the concerned authorities. Abuse of a dominant position is also one of the features of a Competition Act. Combination. As per the Act of Combination, defined as the terms which lead to acquisitions or mergers, but should such combination cross the limits forth by the Act, then the parties involved would be under the scrutiny of the Competition Commission of India. Competition Commission of India is an independent body under the Competition Act of 2002, which powers the entire into contracts and should be contracts should be broken, they can sue the parties involved. The commission consists of a maximum of 6 members who are tasked with the subsisting and promoting the interests of the customers in order to foster an ideal environment for economic competition. These are all the salient features of what Competition Act of 19 Competition Act of 2002. Then come to the point of Consumer Protection Act of 2019. Consumer Protection Act of 2019. Before that, related to Competition Act of 2002, you can refer the your study material or textbooks. Anti-agreements is also taken in place. Types of agreements: direct effects of purchase or sale prices, indirect effects of purchase or sale prices, limits productions, limits supply, limits technical developments, limits service provision in the market, leads to the rigging of bids, leads to a collusive bidding, and abuse of a dominant position. Just you know about this. Competition Commission of India. You may expect the questions. Give an account of Competition Commission in India. Establishment of commission as per the section 2 of 1, it's with the effect from the such date, central government may, by notification or appointment, there shall be established for the purpose of this act, the commission to be called the Competition Commission of India. The commission shall be body corporate by the name aforesaid having a perpetual session or a common goal with a seal with a power subject to provision of this act to acquire, hold and dispose of the property, both movable and as well as the immovable properties is taken a place, and to contract and shall by the said name sure or be sued. The head office of the commission shall be at such place as the central government may declared. Government may decide it from time to time. And also, the commission may establish offices at other places in India. And another thing is composition of a commission, section 8. You should know about this. The commission shall consist of a chairperson, not less than two, not more than six members appointed by the central government. Then the chairperson of every other member shall be a person of ability, integrity, and also standing who has special knowledge of and such professional experience not less than 15 years. International trade and economies, business, commerce, law, finance, accountancy, management, industry, public affairs, or competition matters, including competition law and policy, which is in the opinion of the central government may be useful to the commission. And thirdly, the chairperson and the other members will hold time members. Section selection committee for the chairperson and members of commission, section 9, as per 9 of 1. The chairperson and other members commission shall be appointed by the central government and panel names recommended by the selection committee consisting of a chief justice of India and his nominee, secretary in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, the secretary in the Ministry of Law and Justice, and two experts who have special knowledge and professional experience in international trade, economics, and business, commerce, law, finance, accountancy, management, public efforts, and or competition matters, including competition law and competition policy. In these ways, the appeal of this act is also taken a place, review of order of this commission, and you may expect the question. And another thing is penalty of the act, contraventions of the commissions, and compensation in case of a contravention of orders of commissions, section 42A, penalty for failure to comply with the directions of a commission to the general, section 43, and power to impose penalty for non-furnishing of information on combinations, section 43A, penalty for making a false statement or omissions to furnish matters, material information, section 44. Then penalty for offences in relation to furnishing of information, section 45. And then power to impose lesser penalty, section 46. Controversial mentioned by companies, section 48. These are all the what penalties of the Competition Act of 2002. You may expect the question: define Competition Act of 2002. Explain the penalties of the act. You may expect the questions in your examination point of view. In the next class, I will discussing about the Consumer Protection Act of